I love being back on the campaign trail. I love hearing from people, the one-on-one and the give and take. You can hear problems that affect everyone. It's the environment, it's international relations, it's getting our deficit down, it's creating economic growth. All of these issues come up, and I just love being able to talk to folks about them, understand what they're going through, and working on ways that I can help.
I'm so proud to be here for my son, Dan Seals.
My mom is a social worker, and she's not just a social worker by profession, she's a social worker by personality. She just has a natural inclination to get involved and try to help people.
Dan is the youngest of 3 brothers. His brothers teased him because he was the good guy.
You've got to give my mom a lot of credit for working and holding together, her 3 kids, sending them all off to college. My mom's poise and strength, and I'm sure it wasn't easy, but boy, I admire it. For high school, I went to Kenwood Academy, which is a public school on the south side of Chicago. It was there at Kenwood that a teacher came by and offered to teach Japanese. I went to Boston University for college, and I was determined to be a journalist. I wanted to be an East Asian correspondent. So once I graduated from Boston University, I accepted a job teaching at a public school in Japan, in the suburbs of Tokyo. And so I lived there for 2 years, learning the language, learning the culture, and frankly learning about myself. While I was there, I became interested in public policy. I didn't want to just write about what was going on, I wanted to take a more active role. So I returned from Japan and entered Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies. There, my focus was on economics and Japan studies, and of course that's where I met my wife.
My name is Mia. I am married to a wonderful guy named Dan Seals.
I first saw Mia at orientation.
He looks like a big, goofy dude.
He would call and just tell me about this person.
I told my mother about Mia, and my mother said, well, why would she want to go out with you? I couldn't believe it. I mean, where's your mother there when you need her, right?
He made up a story.
I said, I was interested in working at a think tank, and I wondered what it was like for you.
I said, hey, I have a potential offer at such and such think tank, and what is it like to be working there?
I just remember my leg was shaking and my heart was pounding.
So we created, a lunch, not necessarily a date.
I'll admit it, I'm not very smooth.
And I said, oh, you can come into my think tank and you can meet people, and during lunch, he didn't ask me any questions about a think tank, so I thought, oh, maybe he's interested in me.
She soon realized that I had other ulterior motives, and it all worked out. We both applied to the University of Chicago for business school, and we both got accepted, and so then we moved back home.
We have 3 children. The oldest one is now 9, and the second one is 7, and the youngest one is a little over 3.
I am surrounded by women, from my mother, who has been such a tremendous influence on me, my wife, Mia, to these 3 wonderful girls who I am endlessly fascinated by.
I look at him as a father, and how he's so gentle and caring and involved and supportive. He's sensitive. Dan is extremely genuine. I can't say enough about how principled and ethical he is.
As I'm talking to people, whether they are in Waukegan or Wilmette, they are talking about the need for more jobs. That's priority number 1. Number 2, we need to have affordable health care coverage.
I think he's the kind of person who would be so sincerely interested in your issues.
How do we lower costs for families? How do we create more jobs in our community? How do we get more kids into college? This is how we're going to succeed in the long run. So I like the direction that President Obama has taken this country, but there's even more we can do, and I'm willing to fight for that. That's what I'm going to do in Washington.